everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to Mystical Munchies featuring the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. The baked lobster macaroni and cheese, which actually had shrimp in it last week, turned out to be really good. So now we're on to the dessert, caramel pecan bars. First up, let's tell the story. When the Germany Pavilion at Epcot was first dreamed up in the late 1970s, Germany itself was split into two nations, East and West. Imagineers wanted the pavilion to focus not on the division, but instead their shared heritage. The original pavilion was also supposed to have a ride that would take guests on a cruise down the Rhine River. The ride never came to fruition, but now you can take an Adventures by Disney River cruise on the actual Rhine River. Created from the German Werther's candy, this recipe is delicious as is, but if you'd like, sub the pecans for walnuts, almonds, or M&Ms. Well, I'm not going to be doing any kind of substitutions because I usually don't on Mystical Munchies the first time I make a recipe unless I have a good reason for it, which I always explain either in the ingredients when I walk through those and or in the description. But as usual, the ingredients are waiting for us at the table, so let's move in that direction. You'll probably hear the oven chirping in the background. I've got that preheating to 350. You also may see a glance of parchment paper right here at this side of shot. I've already lined an ungreased 9x13 baking sheet with parchment paper, and that's going to be set aside. Anyway, to make this recipe, we need 1 cup of salted butter that's going to be softened. I may have to stick that in the microwave for a little bit. Half a cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 bag of Werther's original soft caramels unwrapped, and unwrapping those was fun. A 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, half a cup of chopped pecans, and a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now let's move into the kitchen and start putting this recipe together. We've got the stand mixer in shot here because we will need that right away. And I was honestly thinking I would need to put the butter in the microwave, but I think it's probably going to be just fine by the time we get it in here. So first up in our bowl of our stand mixer, we're going to start with our sugar. We need half a cup of that. It's probably a little bit more than half a cup, but it's probably fine. Half a cup can go back to the table because I'll need that again. Our cup of butter, aka 2 sticks of it, and I think it's probably soft enough just from sitting out at the table getting ready for the shot. And our 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Once it decides it wants to cooperate with me. There we are. That can go in. And we want to cream that together well. So we'll stick the butter down there. We'll bring the flat beater bar in, and we'll let the stand mixer take it away. Let me see if I can lock that down. And I've got a spatula here as well in case I need to scrape down the sides, but I don't think I'll need to. I think the beater bar is actually taking care of most of that for me. And you might have just heard it, but the oven just came up to temperature. Okay. I'm mostly trying to hold this in place just to make sure it doesn't do anything crazy on me. So I think we're probably creamed together well enough at this point. I'll kill that for now. Now we want to start adding the flour slowly. So I've got my 2 cups of flour right here. We'll just start adding that in slowly. I'm not going to put it all in one shot. Let that incorporate a little bit. I want to move that down so I don't get flour into my silverware drawer. Alright, we can bring a little more in. See if locking that down keeps it from going everywhere on me. I'll see if I can scrape some of these little bits and get them back in. Okay. And we can probably add the rest of the flour in at this point. All right. Perfect. Lock that. Whoa! I did not think I was turning it up that fast. Okay. I'm going to see if I can... There we go. Put that down a bit. Because I don't like how vertical that's standing on me. Let's see if maybe that can help me. I'll scrape the side of the bowl down a little bit, but I don't think there's much I can do here. Let me give it another... Probably about another minute or two of mixing. Let me see if I can scrape some more of this flour back in. Or, well, let's see what we can do here. We'll lock that. Careful for the speed. There we are. Okay, that's probably about as much as we're going to get out of that. So now I'm going to wash my hands off real quick. And I need the 9x13 pan that I prepped with parchment paper earlier. Because now we want to press 2/3 of the dough into the prepared dish and leave the remaining set aside. So I'm going to take off my Apple Watch and probably have a terrible time measuring proportions because I've always sucked at this kind of thing. I also want to redo the parchment paper I've got here. I think that's probably about the best I'm going to do with it. So let me see if I can maybe lock this down a little bit. Just so it doesn't go too far on me. Okay. I think that's probably about as good as we're going to get there. I'm doing this all off shot. So now I want to take some of the dough and get it into the pan. But I don't want all of it again. I have a feeling this is not going to have made enough dough without serious stretching of it, which I'm doing off camera. I don't think we're going to have enough dough in here for a 9x13 pan. I'm not buying that in the slightest. I probably need all of this to get enough in here, and even then, unless I'm supposed to be able to stretch it heavily, maybe? That's the only thing That's the only thing I can think of that would work, but it does seem to be working, actually. So let me get some of this dough back out, and maybe I will be able to stretch it. The stretching seems like it's working. I'll just bring it up to show you guys. The stretching seems to be working, but those are going to be some thin bars, and maybe that's supposed to be intended, but we'll find out soon enough. Although they might also expand when they're baking, so that's also a possibility I need to consider. So yeah, looks like I managed to stretch this out just enough, even though I'm still not completely trusting of what I've got here, but I'm going to trust the recipe that the writers of the cookbook know what they're doing. So now we can put the dough off to the side, and now we need to deal with the caramels next. We've got a microwave-safe bowl with the caramels that I've already unwrapped. I'm concerned at how solid they already are. Hopefully a little bit of heat in the microwave will take care of that. But before we can get them in the microwave, we need to add the sweetened condensed milk. I had a spatula that I thought I was going to need for the butter when I put it in the microwave, but we can use that to get the sweetened condensed milk out of here instead. Actually, we might want a bigger spatula than that. So I think we'll grab this one instead. And we'll start to go to work. Actually, we can use the other spatula to scrape off of here. So that will work. Okay, and now given the times, normally I wouldn't bore you guys with microwaving anything, but given that we're looking for short times here, we'll go ahead and just do it in real time. Plus there's other stuff that I need to worry about here. So now we're going to go to the microwave, and we're going to microwave that for, what do they want? 1.5 minutes. Yep. Which is easy enough to hit the microwave, the express cook 1, and then add 30. Do a little bit of cleanup here, although once I start washing dishes, more of that's probably gonna make it a lot easier to get cleanup done over here at the counter and on the microwave a little bit. Looks like I got a little bit of the flour on here from when I was dealing with the stand mixer earlier. We're just waiting for the timer to turn on to finish on the microwave. I'll grab a hot pad. So I've got that ready to go. So now we're going to pull this out of the microwave. We'll give this a quick stir. I'm not sure how much. Okay, it looks like it did a little bit to the Looks like it did do something to the caramels. So we're just giving it a quick stir up. And then we want to microwave this again after we stir it until the caramels are heated, or until the caramels are melted, which the recipe says should take about another minute. I'm going to grab a spoon, since I used my small spatula to scrape some of this off. Okay. We'll give that another minute in the microwave. So that's our goal. We may have to give this more passes just to get to make sure the caramels get melted, because that's what we're trying to get out of these. That's what we're trying to get out of this microwave step. Once again, we're just waiting for the microwave timer to go off. Okay, we'll pull that out, and we'll give it another quick stir. Trying to make sure the caramels get melted in here. I think the caramels are melted at this point, so that's good. Yeah, I think we got them here. I'll get another spatula ready because I'll have another step that I'll probably want to be able to scrape. I'll probably want to be able to scrape the caramel milk mixture out. Before we get to that, though, we need to add in the pecans and the vanilla. So first up, we need half a cup of pecans, which might just end up being the rest of these. Let's see what we get out of here first by taking proper measurements. Yeah, let's just pour the whole thing in. It's probably a little more than half a cup, but it's all good. Throw that in the garbage. And then we need half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay. And we'll stir all of that. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good coming out of it, but I'm not going to devour it now for obvious reasons. We've got that all stirred in, so now we need the dough back in shot. Now we're going to take the caramel sauce that we've made and pour it over the dough in the pan. So let's get my hot pad here on the underside as well. We'll pour it like that. Yeah. Okay, it's probably actually hot enough or probably cool enough to grab it here, so I can have a little easier time scraping it down. So let's grab the spatula for that. because that's what I grabbed it, because this is what I grabbed it for. We can also use the spatula, of course, to spread the sauce around, which we'll do a little bit of that. Okay. Okay. Then we'll grab a bit of the remaining dough that we put aside. I've got it over here off shot. Flatten that down and cut it up a little bit. Technically they want pieces about 1 inch in diameter, but I'm not going to be that precise. We'll just scatter some of these around. Like I said, it's going to be very hand-wavy, very haphazard with the remaining dough. I'm just going to scatter pieces of it around. Okay. Normally I wouldn't bore you guys with this, but given that our next step is going in the oven with this, and this isn't going to take too much longer. I'm just about done here. Okay. So I think that's the best we're going to get there in terms of spreading out the remaining dough. But now we want to bake this until the edges are bubbling and golden brown, which should take about 25 minutes. Then we're going to let it cool for about an hour before we come back and take a look at the finished product. So now this will go in the oven. As I'll bring the camera out of my way. So I can put that in. I'll set a timer for 25 minutes. So we'll reconvene in about an hour and a half, I'd say, all told. Here's our first look at the caramel pecan bars as they've just come out of the oven and they've been cooling. By the way, I forgot to mention that hour and a half would seem like a moment because of the power of editing, but you guys are probably smart enough to figure that out by now. Anyway, I'm going to cut these into bars, then we're going to plate one of them, then I'll meet you guys over at my desk for the taste test. I will say, as the caramel pecan bars are, so we've got a couple of them over here, they actually did come out of the pan really smoothly, so I didn't mangle these too badly. But let's give these a taste and see what I think. Fresh out of the oven, I'm actually really happy with how these turned out. There's They actually chew through them pretty quickly. There's not too much consistency here, but you do notice at least the caramel in here. I don't know how much of the pecans I got out of here because those pecans were pretty small as I put them in here, and I also bit into a not big piece. But if you have nut trouble, do be aware that there are pecans in this recipe. That's another episode of Mystical Munchies in the books, though. Next week, we'll be into the drink, Jungle Juleps. Still busy coming up on the channel. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be playing another round of golf as we hit the links at Augusta National in a round of ASG golf. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have the intro for Christmas in Arkham, and I can't believe that's coming up already. And then we'll be into the Advent of the Phoenix by the middle of this week. I'll talk a little bit more about that during the Christmas in Arkham intro stream tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll be continuing the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament, but I'll explain more about how that's going to work on Sunday during the intro to Christmas in Arkham. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.